Hey everybody, Matt Williams. Welcome back to the channel. Well, we have two drivers that we're going to be playing today. I'm going to play 18 holes out on the golf course. Hopefully my equipment battery stays charged long enough to make all 18 holes. But we're going to be hitting two drivers today off of every hole. Now, if you follow the What's in My Bag series, you know that currently I'm gaming the TaylorMade M5 driver, and I've definitely been searching for a new driver. And in the process, I've only got a couple so far up on the channel, I've started to test and review the current driver lineup for 2021. Well, here you'll see my TaylorMade M5. And in the bag, I also have the TaylorMade SiM driver. Now, I got this driver off a good buddy of mine. It has got a Ventus Black extra stiff shaft in it. And I got it for 300 bucks. So I figured I can't pass up $300 for a SiM with a Ventus Black shaft in it. I currently have a Ventus Black regular stiff shaft in my M5. So we're gonna hit both drivers and I'm gonna do a few different totals. First of all, I'm gonna give a point to whichever driver I choose the tee shot off of, and then I'm gonna play in the hole from there on every single hole, except for the par 3, of course. And we'll give a point to the driver whose shot I select. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that I'll be going with the one in the fairway. I'll be going with the one that I feel like gives me the best shot on approach to a par 5 or par 4 or whatever. I will, however, keep a running tally of how many fairways each driver hits and which one was longest on every hole, even if it's not the shot that I take. So we'll be keeping track of which one is longer. We'll be keeping track of which one finds more fairways and which one I use most overall. Is the SiM going to be a massive upgrade over the TaylorMade M5? Well, we're about to find out. Join me for 18 holes. Okay, well, it is an extremely windy day. Both those got blown hard left, so wind is going to be a factor today, which is going to make this test interesting. One hole in, I can already tell, but look at this. These two drives were the exact same distance. I pulled them both off of the fairway to the left. This is a long, well, not a long par 5, but this is a par 5. Green's up there. Since they're both the exact same distance, I'm going to go with this one on the right. Gives me just a slightly better angle to the green. And that was the TaylorMade SiM. So 1 point for the SiM. I saw a couple pins coming in, driving into the course. And looking at this one on number 1, it's just a couple of feet from the back, right on a downslope. So if I put this past the hole, it's gonna go flying. I have a feeling pins are gonna be ridiculous today. Anyways, got a putt for eagle. All right, so birdied the first hole. Comment below. Do you think that I should give a bonus point to the driver if I use it and make birdie or eagle? Comment below, I'll decide later. Just walked up a big hill. While you're at it though, make sure if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up for hit that thumbs up, hit the bell for notifications. We're gonna go on to number 2. Now number 2, I'll go ahead and show you, and I'll play the hole. But it is not a driver hole. It is a short par 4 with a hard dog left. I can't hit more than 3 wood here. Sometimes I even go hybrid. I'm gonna go ahead and hit 3 wood because the tees are pretty far back here. right, 1 under through 3. Not a bad start. Not a bad start at all. We've got one more par 3 left on the front 9, but we got a lot more driving holes left. This next one, guys, is what normally is a gorgeous par 5, but we rebuilt our green. It opens in about 30 days, so we did it last year, but we're still on the temporary green, so I guess you call this a par 4. I don't know. There's a little ring and around a flag in the middle of the fairway. You know the drill. But let's see how these tee shots do, because that's really what we're here for. Wow, 2 pretty good passes at that one. We'll go up and see, but I have a feeling the M5, which I hit first, I just ripped one. It was a really good swing, but it went dead straight, and I think it found a fairway bunker up there. I'm pretty sure. The SiM, which I hit second on this one, which, by the way, I'll always alternate which one I hit first and which one I hit second. I'll try in the video and label which one's which. The SiM, I hit kind of a low cut, and it just landed in the perfect spot and went around the corner and ran away. So I'm certain the SiM's gonna win on this one, but let's go take a look. All right, the M5 did not find the bunker. Normally this would be a shot I'm just fine with. I could play this to this hole, especially when it's the full par 5. However, it's not in the fairway, and the SiM was longer. It's down there in the middle of the fairway, so a fairway point for SiM and a distance point for SiM, and I'm going to be playing it, so another point there. Well, that's all white stake OB, and I can't find my second shot, which was the M5, which means that probably went OB. But right here in the middle of the fairway is the greatest drive I've ever hit. Now, this is hole number 5. This is the hardest hole on the golf course. It's our signature hole, and I hit this over 300 yards. This is the longest drive and best drive I have ever hit on this hole. So let's see what we can do with it. But distance, fairway, and usable shot, all points go to the SiM. Those first 2 putts were without question the worst putts I've hit in a while. That was disgusting. Ugh. So if you guys commented and said I needed to add a point if I make birdie or eagle, do I deduct a point if I bogey or double? Woo, back to all square or even par. Wow. Next hole here is a 414-yard par 4. I normally do not hit driver here because there's a creek that kind of runs across or into the fairway down there. But for you guys and for this test, I will be hitting, of course, both drivers. So here we go. Well, what a complete and utter disaster this one was. And I was worried about this because if you've been following the channel long enough, you know I'm only almost about a 7 handicap, and I just got here to single digits. I've not been here long, so I'm not that great. And you know, when you're doing videos like this, which are more designed for average golfers, you worry about this. Well, I hit the M5 right up into these trees here. Heard it bounce a whole bunch of times as I'm walking around filming here. I don't even know where it went or if I'm going to find it. I have no idea. Oh, here it is. Wow, it's actually playable. And we got a long walk because it hit the trees. We got a long walk to where the SiM went. Now the SiM might have even trickled into the water hazard. Oh. Yeah, so here's the M5, and I got to go right through all of those trees. You can see the flag under all those trees. I suppose I could try and hit a big... Are you kidding me? All right, well, these are two absolutely sensational drives on hole number 9. The one on the left, just a tiny bit further by about a foot. So 1/3 of a yard, or a meter for those of you and my international followers. Yeah, so the one on the left is the SiM, the one on the right is the M5, so the SiM gets distance. They both get a fairway point, and the one I'm going to be playing is the SiM, so another point there for SiM. But these are both, again, over 300 yards, so I've hit over 300 yards several times today, which is really interesting, so pretty fun. All right, making the turn at even par. Of course, I could hear y'all now saying, well, if I got to hit two tee shots on every hole, I could be even par 2 at the turn. But I'd be interested to see. So we know the 2 par 3s and the par 4. So there's 3 holes that I only hit 1 drive. And so the other 6, where I'm doing the battle of the M5 and the SiM, I'd be interested to look back at that and see how many times I took the first drive that I hit. My head tells me 5 out of the 6 times. So all in all, playing some pretty decent golf by my standard. So we've got hole number 10, which is another, let's see, yeah, about a 390 yard par 4, and not one that I would hit driver on, because again, there's a hard dog to the left here. So I would normally hit 3-wood, but again, I paid for this on 7 though. For you guys, I will hit driver on this one. Well, this is a tough position to be in here. So this was the M5. It skipped right out of this bunker and right onto this lip here. There's the green right down there of hole number 10, guarded by a creek, as you might be able to see. Let's see. My SiM drive was solid hit. There it is right there. Let's see if I can get a finger on it. Oh boy, that is just bad. Anyway, so the drive for the SiM is just right down there, just off the fairway. So SiM was a little longer. Neither of them get a point for being on the fairway, but I don't know which one to play, because the M5 here, this is gonna be terrible. I'm gonna have to play the SiM, even though it's gonna be guarded by those trees, and I'm not gonna have a flat chance at the green. If anything, I'm gonna have to be on the far right side of the green. So I guess we play the SiM on this one. Neither of them are very good though. Take a shot on this par 5. SiM is a bit longer. I actually hit the M5 pretty solid. I'll show you where that is here, but SiM's in the fairway. It's also got the M5 You know what? I'm going to say something. I'm not going to award a distance winner on this one because the M5 found this fairway bunker here and it hit the lip, the front lip there, and kind of came back. So Lord knows where that would have rolled up to. So I'm not, because I don't mean because it gets caught on a lip. I'm not saying that then the sim automatically went longer, but both pretty well struck. Just pulled that M5 a little bit. So fairway point and playability point for the sim, but I'm not going to award a distance one on this one. Wow, I thought I towed this one way off to the right, but instead I got this great bounce off the hill onto the green. Really long putt for eagle, but it's an eagle putt nonetheless. $550 or so yard par 5. Just thought I'd give you a view of the mountain. That's Mount Jefferson. Lovely. Here we go. All right, well, I couldn't have been further apart on these, but they were both fine drives. This is the M5, and we're going down towards the mountain down there. Actually, just right of that. It's actually a hair longer than the sim, which actually bounced and rolled down that ridge there. And it also is normally in a place I'd be happy to play, but I think I'm going to take this one. So neither of them in the fairway, no fairway points. Distance, just barely the M5, and if I really measured it off, maybe the sim was tighter or longer, but I'll give it to the M5. And the one I'm playing is the M5, obviously. Here we go. All right, I thought I put it in this bunker. I'm quite thankful to see that I didn't. This is the sim, and back over there, can we see it, is the M5. Both really good drives, and I mean really good drives. The M5 gets a point for being in the fairway. The sim gets a point for distance, and because it's a good 10 plus yards, maybe 15 yards closer, I could shoot the distance to know for sure, but sim is going to be the one that gets the shot that's played on this one. All right, so I take that back. I'm going to pick this one up, and I'll show you why here in just a second. Flag buried behind that bunker. So let's just pick this one up and run over to the M5. Come on, baby. right, M5. Look at this angle. Much cleaner and nicer. Much better approach here. So, M5 actually is going to be the ones that played. Still didn't get distance, but did get fairway and player. I'll burn it to heck. Getting a little loose with my swing here. I knew the M5 was going to win right off the tee because I jerked my SiM into the hazard here somewhere. I have a feeling it was further than the M5. This isn't my longest drive by any means. But since I can't quite find it, I don't know. So, point for M5 for the one I'm going to play. Point for M5 for being in the fairway. What I won't give it is a point for distance, and I don't think I'm being punitive or harsh on the M5. I have given the M5 some massive slack and not given the SiM some distance points when the M5 hit a bunker or a tree. So given that I don't really know how far in terms of distance the SiM traveled, I won't give it that point, but the other 2 points it gets. Okay, well, I think I've reached a little problem on the 18th hole. These are the blue tees, and this is the hardest hole on the back nine. It's an insanely hard finishing hole, and it's pretty dang long. I think we're at about 440 yards or so. The problem is I got a little wind helping, and if I hit driver here from the blues, I think there's a good chance that I put one or both of them in the creek, as I sometimes do. So if I put one of them in the creek, I think that kills the test. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to the black tees, the pro tips, and play it from there. It's gonna make this hole, an already ridiculous hole, even harder. So I don't know how I'll score, but at least I'll probably have 2 drives that I can actually compare to one another. All right, well, that was a fun day. I hope it was informative to you. What I wanted to do was just go over a couple of numbers there. Ended up shooting, what, 2 over or so? Yeah, 2 over today, using multiple drives. But as I said at the turn, and I won't know until we go to edit this, I think I used the first drive most of the time. And even on a couple of the drives that I didn't hit, you'll remember me saying that they were drives I would otherwise, the drive I didn't use were drives I would have been happy to play a handful of times. So, you know, by and large, I played pretty good. What failed me, and it was really obvious on the last 2 bogeys coming in, is my chipping and putting wasn't very sharp today. So to score that well in this format, you know, I'm pretty darn pleased with that, to be honest with you. Now, let's look at some numbers here. First of all, in the number of times that I used each driver, there were 12 opportunities to use a driver. 7 of those I used the SiM, and then the M5 made a bit of a comeback on the back 9 and used the M5 5 times today. So the SiM beats the M5 in terms of how many times I used it, 7 to 5. Now, in the fairways category, I actually, even though I actually was swinging driver pretty well today, I did not find that many fairways. I was just off a whole bunch of times. So I only found 5 fairways with the SiM, 4 fairways with the M5. So the SiM, more of the fairway finder, edged it out just barely, 5 to 4. Now the big one was distance, and they tied a handful of times, but there was 10 of them they did not tie. And when the SiM beat the M5 on distance, 8 to 2. So 8 times the SiM clearly outdrove the M5. Only 2 times did the M5 outdrive the SiM. So let's summarize this then. The SiM found more fairways. It was played, you know, it had the better tee shot more often and had more distance. So is the SiM, at least for me, an upgrade over the M5? Absolutely. If you're considering maybe getting a SiM, you know, look, leave me a comment below. Let me know which category you fall into. You could be somebody that's hitting a way older driver and you're thinking about getting a brand new one. And maybe what this video says is that perhaps you don't need a brand new one. You could go with a used one. And if you're considering and you found some deals on some used ones, is the SiM that much better than the M5? I would say yes. If you're an M5 player right now, you've got a TaylorMade M5 or maybe even an M6, and you've been thinking about upgrading to the SiM or SiM 2, especially for the money that you could pick up a SiM for right now, would it be worth it? I think this test clearly says that it would be worth it to upgrade to the SiM. All right, folks, well, I hope you had fun today. I had an absolutely blast on a gorgeous day here at the golf course. Played pretty well. There was a couple sloppy swings in there, but for my handicap, that's what you're probably going to find. Hope this video helps. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments section below. Make sure, if you haven't, by the end of this video, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already a subscriber. We got a lot more content coming, and I'm having so much fun. I appreciate all your support. We'll see you guys on the next one.